who came through for Lou, creative director, stylist to the stars, and brand designer, Andre made sure to squeeze me in his day to discuss his aspirational achievements along with what we can expect on this season of Chasing LA. Get ready, baby.
You got to get it right. On three. 1, 2, 3. Boo, boo,
Boop,
boo,
boop, boop,
boo,
boop,
boo.
boop.
Guess Who with Lou is where I come through to chat with who you do know or don't know but need to know. I'm chatting with the best and there will be mess, but you will never know who is next.
To start things off, how old are you?
I am 30 plus years old.
Okay, he doesn't look it. Age, what's your secret?
Honestly, I wash my face, twice a day in the morning and at nighttime. I'm big on skincare regimens and routines. I'm a
Mhm.
very routine-based person, so I try to every night before I go to bed, I have like a little routine that I go through.
So where are you from?
I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I lived in both Memphis and Nashville, and then I moved to LA. Actually, I'm coming up on my 8-year caliversary. That's what my caliversary. I
Oh,
moved here on Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, so I'm literally like days away.
right. What brought you to LA and how did you go from Tennessee to LA?
For me, it was honestly a very natural move. I had family here. I had kind of come at like a little crossroads in my life. My mother had passed away of breast cancer, like in around, I think 2013.
Mhm.
And I just needed a fresh start.
What's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
Ooh, what's the fun fact about the Scorpios? You know y'all fiery.
Very, very, as you can see, we very fiery.
Uh-huh.
Probably a downfall and just the thing is like sometimes I'm kind of like I can probably hold a grudge. It
Mhm.
takes me like a little bit longer to get over things.
So who and what inspires your career?
I think what the motivation behind my career is just to really make something of myself. I think, especially when you grow up LGBT, you grow up queer, it's very difficult for you to find your footing and to find, what organically makes you happy. And I think for me, I just always knew that there was a calling over my life. There was something in me that was greater than where I was at. And that was really, I would say, the driving force. After my mom passed away, it really put a lot of things into perspective for me, just in terms of, we only have one life to live. You only get one shot at this thing. So I really wanted to do the things that made me happy.
Creative directing, wardrobe styling, and costume design. Which do you prefer the most?
Costume design. I prefer
Mhm.
costume, and I've just been getting some really cool opportunities in the costume space. The thing that's like different than costume as opposed to fashion designing is like costume design is like based off of characters. So you're literally building a character. Whereas fashion styling, is more about the glitz, the glam, the looks, giving the girls what they want type of a thing. That was really where I got my start in the business. But as of recently, I've been doing a lot of costume design, and I honestly love it.
What has been the most memorable moment of your career?
I think the most memorable moment for me was being on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That was kind of like a culmination of all the work that I had put into my career. And so
Mhm.
when I was going back and forth with the producers and, they're listing me on the call sheet and I'm on set and they're putting the mic over me and,
Mhm.
I'm filming with Erica Jane and Dorit, it was just like, it was mind blowing. It was really, really mind blowing sometimes. And that was, I would say, the gift that keeps giving because, right before a new season of Housewives, they do a marathon. And then people will see the episode and they're like, oh my gosh, I just realized that you were on The Real Housewives. So that was
Right.
for me just such a big moment. And I think it really just proved to myself that I had what it took to get to the next level and to keep propelling myself.
What are your goals with this opportunity? Do you feel they changed or were they achieved?
Originally, I just came in to have fun. I was slated to be on some other TV projects that unfortunately, due to COVID, fell through. They had to be, postponed,
Mhm.
recasted, reworked out. And so it just kind of, I was up for, I want to say, two TV shows and chasing all at the same time.
Oh,
So it was kind of a situation where I was like, well, if nothing else, if everything else falls through, then I'll just end up doing chasing. And essentially that's what happened. The other two gigs, they fell through due to COVID. So I was like, well, I'll just definitely go forward with doing chasing, which I was totally open to it. I saw the value in the platform, and so I
mhm.
was totally open to coming. I had just recently launched my business, Shop Him, which is like an apparel line. We're very like Fashion Nova, ASOS, that kind of like a vibe.
Right.
And so I was like, well, if nothing more, I can go on here and, showcase my business, just have a little fun, be in this type of reality setting, because the times that I had appeared on any reality or television space, it was more in a professional capacity. It was more
Mhm.
in me like, working for a talent, or being documented doing my job, or when I competed on the Look All Stars. So they were all spaces that were highlighting me more in the fashion space. And I kind of felt like weren't getting to know who Andre was. You know what I mean? Like it was
Exactly.
always me in this one type of capacity. So I felt like coming to the chasing brand, I would be able to showcase myself in a different light, and people get to see like I'm a regular person. I have ups and downs. I have areas that I could improve on. I have things that I do right, things that I do wrong, and so I just felt like this was an opportunity for me to showcase those things and to promote my brand.
Okay, this is where we get to the mess. Okay,
Ooh.
so first impressions of the cast. Who was a bop and who was a flop?
Yes, bop and flop. I would
Yes.
say it's really really funny. I know everybody probably like think this is crazy, but Fran and I were literally drawn to each other from the moment that we met. Like, we
Mhm.
did like a little photo shoot. Like, you guys see like the things where we're like walking on the beach. Like, literally at the beach, I was doing my walk, and then I look over and I'm like, child, who is this little high yellow thing over there with these cakes sitting up?
Right.
And we just literally bonded. I think we literally started talking from the time that we met, and we literally have talked pretty much every day since then.
Mhm.
Obviously, I think the person that I thought was a flop, especially as the night progressed, was King Payne. I felt like, just meeting him, the fan, the laugh, everything was just kind of a lot. And it definitely was not sitting well with my spirit. So I was like, child, I'm just going to go ahead and check this at the door.
So, your first group scene, who was looking for a moment and who was the moment? Now, before you answer that, we got to get it right on three. One, two, three. Boo-da, boo-da,
Boop, boop,
boo,
boop, boop,
boo,
boop,
boo-da.
boop.
Okay, go
Oh.
ahead.
I think I would say probably looking for a moment. I would probably say both King and I were kind of like looking for our little opportunities. I think we were both kind of doing the similar thing of throwing little things out there and see who was gonna stick, who was gonna feel a way about it. Like, one thing about me is I'm very aware of my personality. I know, some people will love me, some people will hate me, and I was okay with that going in. So the first night, my whole thing was like, let me see, how the girls move, what little things will get them stirred up, be it good or bad. And I think who was the moment? I mean, I think King and I were the moment. The whole Missy Elliott thing has just been taking on a life of its own, to the point where allegedly she followed him on Twitter. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I say allegedly. I
yeah.
don't know now. All I saw was what Chasing Reality posted. She allegedly followed him, but I make dreams come true. That's what I do. I connect dots.
So, where do you think you and King Payne went wrong?
It's funny because that night is not, in my opinion, and I know, people will do interviews and try to say otherwise. That night, honestly, isn't where we went wrong, because pretty much right after we wrapped, so this is, the whole thing about the coke allegation keeps coming up that Alicia kind of threw out there into the air. Now, everybody, the whole table pretty much felt a way about that, even people who the comment was not directed towards. So I think we immediately
Mhm.
after taping kind of had a conversation to the effect of like, nobody's cool with this. That is just too far. And so as odd as it was, it kind of bonded some of us. You know, like King and I, we talked immediately after. You know, Jayla and I, we spoke immediately after, and we all just felt like it was too far. Now, I think where for me things went wrong was then going to social media the next day, making a post about me, calling me a sissy. Like, I don't really speak in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't call people faggots. I don't call people sissies. I don't call people punks. That's not my vernacular. Number one, I have a wide vocabulary and I could think of a lot more clever things to say.
Why did you not attend pole dancing in episode 2? And do you think the girls were too hard on Alicia?
I didn't go to the pole dancing on episode 2 because the fact is I was busy. Like I was actually booked. Like literally, I want to say the same week that we started filming, I started wardrobe on a movie that same week. So it happened to, I think our first day of taping was like on a Sunday. In this particular film, we were shooting Monday through Friday. So I wasn't really in a space where I could go to the pole dancing class. It just really didn't work with my schedule. Also, I didn't have an interest in going to the pole dancing class because this was maybe a week after you just went on social media and called me a sissy, and you haven't even addressed me regarding that, but you DMing me to invite me to an event. That's fake AF to me because now it just feels like you trying to do some stuff outwardly and then behind the scenes you want to invite me to an event. Like I'm not that guy. Like you're gonna have to keep the same exact energy with me. So if it's I'm a sissy and it's up, then that's where it's gotta be. It's not that it's up, but I still want to invite you to an event. That don't really work for me. And first and foremost, above all, I am booked.
I know what she's booked, so take a look. Do you
Okay.
think the girls went too hard on Alicia? Because it was like her versus the world.
Absolutely. I feel like Quan went just way overboard with it. Like even when I think they were talking and she was like, "Well, I apologize," and he's like, "Well, I'm not finished yet," and blah blah blah. Like that's a moment where she is attempting to receive what you're saying for the greater good of moving forward, but yet you want to try to check her because you want to be this boss.
Question, we're gonna freestyle this question. Since it is a running debate, okay, it is a running campaign right now. Who do you feel is the real HBIC?
I don't think we got no HBIC. Like, I mean, I know I what's it contributed to that whole discussion and that whole thing because I made my statements, but it's like being a rapper, right? In rap,
Right.
everybody is a self-proclaimed king or queen. Everybody's that person, and in reality, I think it's very similar. Like everybody gonna feel like they it. To me saying that I'm a boss, that I'm an HBIC, does not mean that you ain't a boss and that you ain't an HBIC. Because bosses link, and guess what? We could do some amazing things because we all bosses. So
In episode 3, why do you feel like Jayla switched up on you?
well, it's gonna be a lot that happens between Jayla and I, and a lot is gonna play out, and it'll all come to surface. But I think one of the main things that happen is I recognize and understand that Jayla is extremely young. She's the youngest cast member on, a part of the group, and I feel like she may have felt conflicted in her relationship with me and her relationship with King. I think maybe initially she did like me, although she might not have liked everything that I did and or said. But I think the switch up was probably a certain person being in her ear saying, "Well, you don't need to be friends with him," and and I think that she just couldn't stand the pressure, and so I think with that she started to make some questionable decisions.
Did you shade Hershey's makeup? He did mention that during his convo with Alicia.
He did mention that in his convo with Alicia. I don't know if shade is the appropriate term. I feel like I was asked what my opinion was. Did I like this particular makeup? I can't even remember what the picture was. I said, it's makeup. Like that was my comment essentially or whatever. And I could see how it would be perceived as shady, but it wasn't necessarily like this vicious comment where I was like, your makeup is horrid and you look a mess. Like it really wasn't like that at all. And I did have the opportunity to speak with Hershey and I let him know like, hey, if that offended you, I 100% apologize to you because that was not my aim.
Would you say the cast is divided, and what would it take to bring y'all together?
We are completely divided.
Okay.
It's a hard line in the sand
It's
right
giving
now.
what it's giving to me. So it's giving left couch. We have Ian, because I know him by Fly King Eye. So we have
Hmm.
Ian, Hershey, D Hawkins, you, and Fran. That's like 4 or 5 people. And then on the right couch we have Jayla, Alicia, King Payne. Come on, you know this person. There's so many of y'all, bitch.
I know.
Who was that other? Oh, Quan. And
Hmm.
kind of like in the middle, like, listen, I'm just here for a platform. I'm not really here to like, okay.
Yeah. I would say Jeremy and Hershey are kind of like in that middle spot where they kind of, just
Right.
however things play out. Yeah, but I definitely would say myself, Fran, and Ian are for sure kind of like on one side of the fence, and the others they're on their side of the fence. Oh, and D Hawkins, I've
Right.
definitely grown a nice relationship with D Hawkins. Unfortunately, it's funny because okay, I see the commentary of people like, well, they don't know each other and what are they arguing about and da 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 da. I think although maybe you might not understand every argument, it's important to just take them for what they are because as the story play out, you will see this divide and where it's really stemming from and why there is such a hard line, or maybe not necessarily why, but you will see actions that maybe contribute to it even more. So what might have started off as being petty and trivial then becomes real serious shit that should have never happened. So for me,
Mm.
I'm just personally not really interested in having a relationship with certain people at all ever again. I feel like we reached points of no return where just personally I cannot, I have no interest.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So, child, I feel like maybe Imani can do what she does best and do a little.
And I have no interest in speaking with Amani.
You know what though? Well, how do you feel about her assessments? Because she has not been holding her, and you know she's always been very real. So I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But she has not been holding her tongue, child. But how do you feel? How do you feel?
It's odd because I do understand her role in all of this and I understand, what she contributes. I also think that obviously we have to deal with a lot in terms of people's opinions and them dissecting and breaking down the show. So for me, it's very difficult to understand why we have to be under attack from within. I feel like she's a part of the brand and the commentary is counterproductive. You reserve the right to feel how you feel, but a lot of the statements that she made, people weren't feeling that way in episode 1. But when she got on her platform and said it, now they feel that way. So I think she has
Mm,
to understand the weight that she holds in her platform and how influential her words are. And that, especially in the terms of like the reviewers and some of the viewers, like they have like a sheep like mentality. So if they view her
mm,
in a certain regard and she says it, then of course they're going to follow suit. And I think that is absolutely what happened. I think if you go read the comments, like, yeah, people had, questions about, okay, what is this stemming from? But I think a lot of the commentary changed once she entered the chat. You know what I mean? I
I
think it was very counterproductive to me. I just think like you have a platform that's built off the backs of the talent of this platform. So for you to try to sit and rip us down, you wouldn't even have a platform if our platform didn't exist, especially in the chasing space. I can't speak outside of chasing space. Maybe you could have, built you a platform brick by brick. But what I'm saying is your following and your engagement shot up because you were on the backs and the coattails of the people within this brand. So I think it is completely counterproductive. I think it was handled completely wrong. I think she could have given her assessment. She could have given her feedback. I think the comments that she made about Q were inaccurate. She talked about, is it about your body or is it about this? Q was on the episode for 5 minutes.
mm-hmm.
So what does this have to do with Q?
Uh-huh.
I'm sure you've seen some of the other content. What do you feel happened that was so different from us that we've never seen before on these other shows?
I think the only reason why y'all have gotten such a bad rap is because one, y'all don't know each other. And then two, because it's chasing LA and I think we've finally got a crop of people where y'all actually have something to bring to showcase that y'all are chasing. So it's kind of like we want to see, and Oliver brought up a great point on one of his reviews that he did on Chasing Atlanta. We want to see high pussy drama. Like if y'all
Mm-hmm.
came together and said, okay, we're going to do this project. And then it was kind of like, okay, well, King Payne, you missed the deadline. And D Hawkins, you forgot to contact the vendors, and drama started from that. We would be into it because it's kind of
Right.
like, if y'all have an actual career, this is LA, damn near Hollywood. So this is like high pussy drama. So it's like for us to come to a new show, a new city with new people, and it's the same trivial shit. I think
Mm-hmm.
people were kind of like, girl. And then it's like, because y'all don't know each other, sometimes it comes off so like contrived, like, y'all have other shit y'all could be arguing about. So why y'all trying to
Right.
make this an issue? I think that's why y'all have gotten such like a harsh thing.
I mean, I could totally see that. I think even in that though, some of that is based off of what your expectation is, as opposed to again the realities of what has happened on the other franchises. On
Mhm.
season 2 of Dallas, when they all had an argument, what were they arguing about? What do you do? What's your job path? So that ain't no different than the conversations that we have had. And so that's my point, is that although I can understand and I can receive it, you can't judge us more harsh based off of what you thought we should present it because you wanted something different. That's not fair to us. And it's definitely not fair to us stacked up to everybody else. I think the same way about the transphobia comments. We've seen transphobia comments across the board. You know what I'm saying? Where the girls have gotten into it with Lil Kendra and, all types of things. So why are we any different?
Sometimes expectations are synonymous with entitlement. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, we expected so much, but it's also like y'all didn't know that we were expecting that from y'all. Nobody told you in filming, like, okay, well, this is what the viewers are. So it's just
Right.
came and did what y'all. I mean, it's still entertaining. Like, we're still entertained. At this current moment, who can you kick it with, and who can kick rocks?
Well, to kind of echo earlier, friend, that's my boo. I kid you not, I talk to him probably every day. If not every day, every other day. And I ain't talking about like no 15 minutes. We would be on the phone for like 2 hours. He's met my other friends outside of this circle. So Fran is my number one boo, like, period. I've also grown very close with D Hawkins. I speak to him regularly. I'm actually going over to his house a little later today because today's his birthday. So happy birthday, D.
Happy birthday!
Ian, that's my boo. We talk very, very regularly. I think we were up texting at like 2 a.m. this morning. Like, I was sleeping, I woke up, I had a text from him, and we're texting. So we have very genuine relationships. A lot of us got together and went out to brunch last week. You know,
Friend, tell me that. Yeah.
yeah, I think his interview was right afterwards, and we were, on the rooftop
Yeah. Yeah.
having cocktails and hanging out. I think it was me,
Mhm.
Fran, D Hawkins, Ian, Hershey. Jeremy and we haven't had like a lot of opportunities to really connect or build a substantial relationship, but it is what it is. I don't have no issue with him.
What do you think of the season so far?
I hated that the first episodes were so short. That was my honest. I was like, wait, what? I think had
Her-
they been a bit longer, the first two, I think we would have gotten a little bit more of the backstory that would have helped clarify it. Although, again, I don't think just because how everything rolled out, I don't think it's just in a space where you're gonna understand every single thing that happens. But I
Mhm.
think if you just take those things and consume them for what they are and then see what continues to happen, it'll be like, oh, okay, these bitches went from petty to like, oh, this is some real shit.
Right.
But I think so far it's so good. And this week's episode 3, was my absolute favorite. I thought that it was so great. I thought we got a lot more of the character development. I thought they did a lot of things well overall, just in terms of the production value. I think aesthetically the show looks beautiful. I feel like we probably have the highest camera quality that we've seen on the Chasing franchise so far. I just think the packaging of it all was really, really well. And I have to give Q his flowers because he put in a lot of hard work. It is not easy to manage 10 talent, to coordinate 10 people's scenes, 10 people who are busy and who have things going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think it's a lot to be said about that. And that's why I kind of feel like, although the critique from Amani, be it her opinion, I think you also have to, especially when you are, again, behind the veil, you have to put things into retrospect. So if you are behind the veil, you cannot go outwardly and say some bullshit that does not match what we all know to happen behind the scenes. Now, does that mean that there's no room for improvement? Absolutely not. There's always going to be room for improvement. Does that mean that Q did everything right? Absolutely not. There are a lot of things that could have probably been done better. But given the circumstances where he worked with, us filming the show in the middle of a pandemic, LA has been closed.
So, are you ready for the reunion?
Whew, child, I don't know. I was literally talking to one of my friends about this last night. I don't know if I'm ready for the reunion mentally just yet.
Mhm.
I know it's coming and I'm trying to get ready. Also, I'm trying to get ready physically. I'm back in
Okay.
the gym, child. I got to get these designers together so they can get this look together. But
Right.
mentally, I'm trying to get ready because so much has happened. I mean, we literally filmed for 6 months. We started filming in like October. And we filmed for 6 months. We started filming in October. We filmed the finale scene in March.
Wow.
Okay. And
Wait,
then,
March. So it's April now. I mean, well,
yes,
May. Ooh, child.
we
Okay.
filmed the finale scene in March. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but we filmed the
Right.
finale scene in March. The trailer package came out in April. So there
Uh-huh.
hasn't been a lot of time to digest everything that has happened. And
Mhm.
so I feel like for me, a lot of the emotions and the feelings behind it are still very raw. And because they're raw, I don't know that the way that I'm able to have a conversation with you and articulate myself and to be maybe not so riled up at this moment, I don't know if I'm capable of doing that.
And then would you return for season two?
I would absolutely come back for season two. I
Mhm.
think you guys only get to see a certain side of me this season, and I feel like I would want to come back and showcase a different side of me.
And any advice for young gay black men looking to do what you do?
I think, if you want to be in any type of entertainment space, be it fashion, be it, being a designer, being a stylist, or whatever it is, I think, especially with social media, I think a lot of people think about stylists in terms of jumping on the Instagram, looking fresh, or putting together an outfit for yourself. I would just challenge you to produce actual work, produce actual content, be consistent, be intentional, and really just stay in it. Nothing happens overnight. Things typically don't unfold how we want them to unfold. So, enjoy the journey, consume the journey, be present in the journey, because a lot of times those things will lead us to where we organically should go.
Okay. And now this is the last question. What is one thing about Andre that people don't know but need to know?
I would say I think the thing that people need to know about me is that honestly I am at my core just a very like fun and down to earth and grounded person. I think again just, I'm a personality. I've been being on a TV space or in some type of multimedia space for at least the last 5 years. So I know how to be a personality and come and get shit riled up if I need to or give an entertainment value. But at my core, like if I didn't have nothing to do, child, I'd be at home in my sweatpants, binge watching Real Housewives, eating wings, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
just being a regular average dude because that's just like what I am. So
what else do you have to promote for the people?
definitely shop him, shop-him.com. I don't know if y'all saw the commercial on episode 2, but that was lit.
It's very,
That's
very.
funny because I think a lot of people saw the commercial, purchase the product, and they don't even know that it's me because I haven't talked about it on the show yet. So definitely shop him. Also, if you guys didn't know, I was just on a recurring series for the Shade Room on their IGTV called The Shady Brunch. I was a judge, a recurring
I,
judge. Yeah, there's 7 episodes up, 15 minutes each. You can go and watch that right now on the Shade Room. Over 1 million views per episode. So definitely go check that out and just stay tuned. I have a lot of just other things that I'm gonna be releasing. I'm releasing a new collection soon with Shop Him, so I'll be having new merchandise. that confessional look that y'all did this debut with the gold shirt, that's now available on my site. So you guys can, shop my looks and just stay connected with me.
If you enjoyed the interview, then you will enjoy the season. Make sure to check out these queers of color chasing checks and reading the train wrecks on Chasing LA, only on Chasing Reality.